Oh, we're on live. We're on live. We're not going to talk about anything cool anymore. Here we are. Welcome to the show.
That's such a great opener.
I know.
That's how you pull them in.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. Share this video. It's going to be a good one. Building fitness. We're going to talk about it. I don't know where we want to start, but now is the time to build fitness, though, for real.
Facts.
Yeah. You know, speaking of like building fitness, I do want to bring this up, even though we brought it up in the backstage, and I was worried about bringing it up. But Tyler saw it too on the internet, and I think it's wild. It's wild. So I saw yesterday, came through in my feed, and I watch a lot of fitness things. It came through as a lady selling training program, and at first I thought it was like satire. I thought it was a joke. But legitimately selling a fitness training program for the lesbian body. Like how you would train from the marketing I saw to achieve muscle tone if you were a lesbian. As if that dictates your cellular biology, like that preference, which is crazy to me that we have gotten. And I'm sure like people come in the chat if you've seen things like that on your Instagram, that we have gotten so marketing driven that's what it's come to now in fitness.
Well, they're trying to
It's
pull in a
crazy.
population of people, but fooling them.
Yeah, but they need the same
some
program.
Magic
They don't
program. I know. I get it. I'm just saying.
You don't need anything special.
Right.
That's what he was saying. It's a marketing ploy. They found a niche, or
Problem.
they're trying to find a niche, and then they're just going like, that niche has to train a certain way.
Look, I'm all for like having a cohort of people, like-minded individuals, and if like you want to train together that way, great. But I was just taken back that it was like training programs specifically for the lesbian body and lesbians, which I was like, and I'm not against. It's what is hard for me is the idea that as a human being, you need something specifically different for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same thing. Like, I think like first responder training is pretty similar across the board. And I know people niche it out and go firefighter training, police officer training. I could even argue that if you just come to a CrossFit gym or a functional fitness gym, you don't need some special training. Now, if there are special tasks that you have to achieve physical fitness wise, like the PT test, because the Army has something different than the Navy, you know, and they're all slightly different. So I could see how you would specialize in those specific things, which then creates specific characteristics of those roles. Whereas like other stuff, I'm like, I don't know, man. But it was just crazy. It was crazy. And Cody thought it was satire at first as well, until he watched like the punchline. And there was no punchline. It was buy this program. I have a ribcage of a large cat and a heart of a lesbian. Theo Vaughn. Oh, he did say that. That's a pretty funny joke. I don't know. It just happened to be the thing that came up. And what it sparked was like how it's crazy how yeah, like you said, how niche people are trying to make something that is not niche.
Mm-hmm.
You can't distill it down any further than human beings.
Do you think it's because people want to believe that they're niche?
Oh, for sure. Everybody wants to be part of a group. That's like if you read the book Tribe,
right?
You know, that's why you want to do it. I'm gonna bring up that book. Keep talking. Why you think that is, or like how do we fix? I don't think we fix it.
I honestly, I don't blame the people that buy into the program. I blame
100%
the people that are selling it, because I feel like as our jobs as fitness professionals is to help those people realize like that's not a thing. But if no one's told them that or helped them understand that, it's ignorance. But they're not. I don't fault them for that.
No, 100%.
I fault the people for trying to sell the snake oil.
Oh yeah, that's more what I'm getting at, is like how crazy. So yeah, pick up this book Tribe by Sebastian Junger. Mm-hmm. Either way, read that book. You will fully understand why you want to be part of something. But yeah, if you read that book, that's why. Like I get it. I get why people want to be part of that training program, and that's totally fine. Finding your community and your people and your tribe, I'm down with all that. I just think using that to convince somebody that they need a special program for training beyond a human program, you know, because we all have the same cellular, you know, not makeup, but the same but we got skin and muscles and bones. And
Yeah.
it's just like we're the organism ourselves is Homo sapien. Like that's how we affect the body. And to say that like something's super special in that way, in that this non-distinct biological way to develop change in physical homeostasis is crazy.
Yeah.
Now I do know there's uniqueness. Like if we could go down the list of things, like that's why individual training is correct. Some people come in with higher aerobic capacities, better strength, neurodevelopment, hormonal issues or non-hormonal issues, and they have high like testosterone and they get super fucking jacked. Some people have less myostatin inhibitors and people have more. And you can manipulate those characteristics and those advantages and or work with disadvantages to get someone to the same point of physical capacity or their goal of physical capacity as somebody else. Because I think like outside, I was having this conversation today, genetics, like your peak potential of fitness or capability is different across everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how you climb that mountain to get to the peak of your peak is not different than somebody else who gets to the peak of their peak.
Yeah.
Your peak might just be lower or your peak might be way higher, but how you get there and like how you build that fitness is not super unique in outside of like the general principles. Like there's obviously nuance, but the general principles are the same across all human beings. And that's what made me think of it. I was just like, man, how many other programs? And like, you know, we've seen the whole perimenopause, menopause, people trying to drive those emotional feelings. And there's definitely stuff going on there for those groups and populations, and they need care and more information and dive into those things and work on those things with a coach. But at the end of the day, those populations are still going to deadlift. They're still going to squat. They're still going to go hard on an echo bike and train their VO2 max.
Right.
They're still going to try to do VO2 training. Like how much you do that, when you do it. And I could get on board with like what Tyler's saying is if that's like the purpose of the training is like, you're going to try and help this person one-to-one or a group of people. And you're using like, okay, this group of people needs to have 4 days a week zone 2 and 1 day a week high intensity, because that's what we found through the literature. And then you work with thousands of people and you find that gives you positive outcomes of training these people up to their peak, then great. But all that is structure and manipulating the structure appropriately for the athletes or cohort of athletes that you're training. But not in some of these buckets that have nothing to do with physiology. Like I bring up the menopause thing because there is something there that affects your physiology from a biological standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard for me to get on board with your sexual preference dictates your muscular outcome like that, or like speed, power, endurance. It's crazy. And I just was like taken back. And that's one example. There's lots of them out there. And that was just the one I saw that was like, we're here now. This is where we're at in marketing.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I think a lot of these people don't even know how to distinct themselves from other training programs. So then they just start like trying to create like their own buckets of people instead of like actually being honest about that the training's not any different, you know? So that they're trying to like get themselves in populations of people and thinking that they're giving them something mind blowing or different or
like
But
even
I feel
like
that's I was gonna say, I feel like that's a lack of confidence in what you can do as a person,
Right.
like as a coach or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, dang.
what I have to give isn't good enough, so I've got to like figure out a way to sneak in here.
Yeah.
That's a good take.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at too, is that they don't have the confidence to go against maybe like bigger programs or whatever.
Yeah.
And so so then they kind of like market, well, my program's different and this is why, but it is different, but it's probably not if they're actually following strength conditioning principles and training principles.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The movement exercises that she was doing in her video were good and they'll work for everyone, not just lesbians. I don't know why that's funny. I'm just saying the facts. But what I didn't like was there was like, do this, not that. like exercise selection, which is
Mm,
weird to me
Yeah.
because I was like,
is weird.
I mean, I would argue can't say every.
Well,
I can make an argument for almost anything, but obviously there are exercises that all have their place. I was thinking when I was about to say every exercise has its place, I thought in my mind instantly of someone doing like an overhead squat on a Bosu ball. And I was like, okay, not every exercise has its place.
I was thinking Bosu curls.
Yeah.
yeah.
But not if you put them like preacher and you use it as like a preacher. You could use a Bosu for like a preacher curl. That would be good. It's just now you're just using it as a support system and some instability because the ball. Anyways, see, you could get creative, but you'd have to have a real specific reason of why you want some like weird arm instability when you're trying to isolate the biceps.
Right.
You want something really hard and stable so you could create leverage against through your humerus. So see, you could argue against it. But there are a lot of movements that have a lot of value. Like I hate on the hip thrust a lot because like I want to say 3, maybe 4 years ago, Max O'Haja Training Think Tank, they did a whole like hip thrust cycle. And because I was in like the mentorship and doing some other stuff, I was privy to the results. And like they saw and I saw no value in being able to do like a 700-pound hip thrust. Like it doesn't increase anything functionality wise in like your squat or your deadlift, like, but obviously it builds robustness and strength, and there's some value there. But then like you go and you look at someone like Brett Contreras, the glute guy, and you look at how like they do partial reps for the glute bridge and they're going under stretch and changing it this way, and like some of the things they do for that. And then you look at some of the people who like primarily use that as like one of their key movements for their training program is a glute hip thrust with a barbell. And their glutes are great, round, plump, massive, strong. So like there is value in that movement, just maybe not value in like what we do, high performance hip extension.
Right.
So if like you're an Olympic sprinter or a basketball player, volleyball player, like, and you want explosive power and vertical jump, maybe doing a horizontal displacement movement like a hip thrust is not up your alley, right?
Sure.
Now, if you're like trying to build your glutes and low back stability and some other things there, like that there are benefits from, then yeah, hip thrust might be great, right?
Yeah, but so it's not the movement itself that's ever the problem. It's how you use the movement.
Yeah, that is true. But I was just gonna say, I just don't think I was using that my anecdotal example and my feelings around the hip thrust because I still program hip thrust for people.
Oh, I do too.
Like
I
you're
think
saying,
they're super valuable.
Yeah, just not in the value of like what I think some coaches use them for versus like what I just outlined of like building your glutes and low back stability and strength. And is there a value of being able to hip thrust 700 pounds?
Right.
I mean, that's cool. Like, that's cool. That's the value. You're like, look what I did.
I like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I said. There's value there. But as far as like physical value, pretty low on the list there. It was like I was talking to Marissa, writing a program for somebody. I have like 1 minute sandbag holds, 30-second rest into GHRs, bandit assisted GHRs. And I want like a burn through the hamstrings and the glutes. And the sandbag hold is going to burn like the lower back and the upper glute. And then I want the lower portion of the body and I want more reps. And I was like, how many reps do you think? 10 to 20 reps, like with a good band. So you're like moving pretty quick, almost like a fast, like, the feeling you get when you do fast bicep curls, same thing. 'Cause your hamstring is the bicep of your leg. And so like burn up that portion of your leg pretty good. Right. So it's like that detail of thinking of like movement selection based on the body part that we're trying to target to build. And it was accessory for the day of someone doing power cleans and squatting. So it's like that. Yeah, checks out, right? What would be a bad example
of why you use hip thrust?
No, I'm just saying in general, because like that's what I was gonna say. I think every movement has its place, but then I said how like a Bosu overhead squat doesn't. But like, what would be I can't think of a bad example for like a movement selection, which then unless you guys can think of one, which would be great.
I think, well, like
Comment.
I said, like I think it's more of like how you use the movement, right? Because like
Why you're using them? Why you're
people can look at curls and be like, well, that's really dumb. And then you've got somebody who has a hard time doing a lot of pull-ups, and then you get them doing curls and their biceps are stronger, and all of a sudden their pull-ups aren't as bad. You know, it's just
Right.
I think it's the I mean, I do think that like what would be an application of doing a overhead squat on a Bosu ball? I do think that there are some dumb exercises that are more of like for the gram than for training.
I've only seen that like once in my life though, so I'm just like using the most extreme example. I'm
Well,
sure
I've seen a guy do an overhead squat pistol on a kettlebell. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
yeah,
what is that?
I think it's just cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he was probably a coach that was bored in between classes and figured out he could do that. Like,
Yeah.
cool. But
sounds like all the things we did in 2014 with Jordan at Sundown.
We're just trying stuff out. That's where you learn. It's a laboratory. I mean, I would think like, you know, you look at somebody doing that, it's like, oh, okay, cool, man. So you're like really like when I see somebody doing like a pistol overhead squat or something like that, single leg stability of that degree
Mhm.
and like foot strength. I'm like, hey, how much you slack line?
Oh yeah.
You know, because that would be if you were doing that and you were like hardcore into slacklining, which some people are. Slacklining is pretty dope, by the way, if you ever want to do it and try it. I could see that being like in your training. I'm not one for like quote unquote sports specific training, even though like CrossFit is a sport, but it's non-specific. But I'm like not one for trying to be specific in your training to that big of a degree where it's like I'm going to stand on a kettlebell because my foot wiggles back and forth, and I'm going to overly load my single leg pistol so then I can balance on my slack line as I walk across it. You know, like I'm just like, no, how about we just like work on some balance and some like foot speed and like toe slides and towel scrunchies to make your feet stronger. Like, how about we just do like the GPP of the foot strength? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The general physical.
Well, maybe you're
preparedness of the
even
foot.
saying like people just overcomplicate it.
That's true too.
Like it doesn't need to be that crazy.
But, and I think this goes into our building fitness thing. It's not like what you just described of like foot scrunchies and all the things you said for that. It's not the sexy stuff. I bring that up because I was talking to a client today who I have doing a lot of rowing, and she's like, it's boring. Like, yeah, but the boring stuff works. The boring stuff makes it so that when you get out into the
you should show her the rowing across the Atlantic and tell me if rowing's boring.
Yeah. You know, and I think that
who said that? Throw them under the bus. Don't do it.
I'm not doing it. But I think that like you see somebody overhead squatting or overhead pistoling on a kettlebell is way cooler and way more fun, quote unquote.
I don't know if that's cool. Do you think that's cool, Heather? Like when I see that, I'm like, that's not cool.
It's impressive. I mean, I don't care who you are. That's impressive.
It is hard to do. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm 50-50. Part of me is like, it's cool, but part of me is like, this person's gonna like break their arm or their leg.
I'm like 90-10 on the. It's not cool. 90%. 10%. Like I'm just kind of maybe even like 98 too. Honestly, I just like can't get down with it. I think like watching someone snatch 315 is way cooler to me.
But I also think that's why a lot of people like CrossFit too, because it lets them like do all these like cool things, and I think they get like so caught up in like doing all these different movements and all these
but I don't want
and they don't like to go
horse.
back and be like, oh, I have to run on this treadmill for an hour. Like
sure, but like what I was gonna say about beating a dead horse though, and I'm gonna do it. Burn boot camp, bro. Some of those moves. The other day I should stop following them. I follow the main like Burn boot camp, the main account, Burn boot camp. I know there's like lots of ones of like I don't follow the local one because we have one of the trainers here, so I just like I don't want to hate on anyone. So I follow oh my god. No, but the other day they had them doing push-ups on their tall parallettes, and their parallettes are probably they look to be like 24 to 36 inches off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like the blue dip bars.
Yeah.
And they have people doing push-ups with their feet elevated on the dip bars. So they have like if
so
they
have
can't
like 40 boxes up there to like.
No, they have one. They have one. That's why I think it's like 24 inches. I've never seen one in person. I'm just judging off the internet, off of their corporate Instagram story. But I was like looking at it, and I'm not against it. Like, but I was like, why don't they just put dumbbells on the ground if they want to do like neutral grip push-ups so you don't have your client hanging in
Because
the
it's
air?
cool things you try to figure out how to get into that in the first place.
Or is it cool because they're like 24 inches off the floor on the blue parallettes and they're going down in their deficit? And
Yeah, of course.
that's
There
what I
it
mean,
is.
though. Like, just put the dumbbells on the floor, though, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't take the classes. I'm just judging it off of what I see on their corporate Instagram. And there's lots of, CrossFit gyms. You can hate on a lot of CrossFit gyms too. You see a lot of wild stuff. But
Yeah, overhead squats.
hey, they're
and
still
push-
building.
push
They're still
ups.
building things, though. They're doing push-ups. I can't be too mad. I just thought it was crazy. I was like, I would not. Like, if you're not confident in push-ups, like, why would you get up there on that thing? Like, I'd be like, nah, coach. Like, I don't care how loud you yell at me right now on that microphone in front of everybody. I'm not getting up there because I'm gonna fall straight through 24 inches to the ground. I don't understand. Entertainment. What Cody say? But then how can you your feet in the air? Right. I know. I don't know. It was funny though. But yeah, that's what I mean. Sometimes it's just too much. It's like too much for what? That's why I'm like 98 too.
Yeah.
98% of me is like, nah, just do something cool. Like push a heavy ass sled. Like I would never talk shit. I have never actually talked shit about like watching people push sleds. Like even watching the High Rocks people push sleds at High Rocks and the Elite. I'm like, that's sick.
Yeah.
It looks good. It's hard. I wish it was more fair across. Like sometimes, because I don't like that. Even in CrossFit, when they like get a bad, it's frustrating because I want to see their expression and you want of fitness and race people. And often there's not a lot you can do. Like moisture on a surface is going to, create more friction and everything else. And so like it's not going to slide. And whatever the ground is when the ground heats up, there's so much involved in pushing a sled and like quote unquote unfairness of pushing it. But like that's a hard challenge. Like you see these guys and girls pulling on the rope, dude. Sick. That is cool. It's not gimmicky. It's bicep and lat driven, a little bit of hamstring, posterior, low back and legs. You got to pull a heavy sled. Like that's good.
Because I just think it's because it's very grindy. Like you just have to like work hard for it. Like
Well, you also have
like,
to have a huge
there's
foundation of strength.
That's what I'm saying. You can't really get around that. And I think that's why it's cool to watch.
Yeah. Versus being 2 feet off the floor doing push-ups on blue parallettes. Like, my God, I was worried for their safety. That's more of no. I think the floor is like squishy or whatever. So
they would have just fell through with their feet still up.
Boom, and they bounce back like Michael Jackson. They're just like hee hee, and then bounce right.
Okay.
I'm just
Nice.
There's like a trampoline. Like
it is. It's like a spring.
Oh.
It's like a. You ever been on the gymnastics floor?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, it's kind of springy. Oh,
Really? All of them?
Uh huh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Safety first. I don't know. Anyways, that's the internet, guys. That was the internet. 23 minutes of the internet talking about stuff. It's crazy out there. It's the wild, wild west of the internet.
I mean, you have something new to talk about every open air about something you've seen on the internet. So
Yeah,
there's
we
a lot
should.
out there.
We should, like, everyone should talk about something. Comment in the chat the craziest thing you've seen on the internet recently. It's crazy. I don't know. I get it though. Read the book Tribe and you'll understand. I understand all that. And I want people to find their tribe. I think that's cool. Man, let me pull some up, you guys. Marissa knows what it is. What's the name of that run club, Marissa? I forget if you're watching.
The one you're saying in Texas.
Yeah, dude, it's sick. It was on Buttery Bros, but we've seen it before because Nick Bear goes to it.
Yeah.
Eric Hellman, or however you say his last name, goes to it. A lot of the BPN guys, the racers, go to it. It's pretty well known. Like people know what it is. I think if you're in the CrossFit space, you got exposed to it in the most recent Buttery Bros episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. They're building fitness for sure.
Why are you bringing that up?
I was gonna just show cool things on the internet that people do as a group.
I thought you were going to go deeper in it because I feel like we've talked
I
about
just want to show cool, positive, cool positive that people are doing instead of like push-ups on 2 feet up, or overhead squats on a kettlebell, or I don't know. But there are funny ones though that do require a good amount of like flexibility, speed, and strength. Like human tricks on the internet. Pat Barber does a really good job. He has you seen the Instagram reels where he'll like try something? Like it's like a flexibility one or like a balancing one.
Yeah.
Recently, I feel like maybe
He's been
I
doing
haven't
it.
seen his stuff lately.
Yeah.
My algorithm is messed up.
Marcus Philly's done that recently too. of
I
like
had-
taking videos and trying to redo what they're doing.
Yeah, because he's ran out of like. There's only so many times you can repurpose a landmine.
Yeah.
There's only so many times you can do a B stance RDL and make it, you know. Yeah, how about watching Strongman at the Rogue Invitational? Yes, that was very cool.
That was cool.
And that's like a 10 out of 10, 100% out of, you know, I think is awesome because, like I said, you have to have a lot of training behind it. I think that's some of the things that, I don't know. I guess Tyler can make an argument for that. You got to have a lot of training behind standing on a kettlebell and doing an overhead squat.
You do. No one's doing that first try.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, the strongman have to have so much training. You have to have so much training behind doing a lot and drugs to do all that stuff. Come on, guys. Let's be honest. Be honest. Come on.
I mean, you said it, not me.
Come on. That's I mean, if it's not, I don't know the drug policy and rules of strongman. I don't know how that works. I don't know when they test or whatever. So I have no idea. I just know that, yes, there are freaks of nature that can get that big. And I also know that there are drugs that will make people that big.
Mm-hmm.
They may or may not be. I have no idea. I'm just saying that it helps if you were to go down that route and you're like, I want to get as big as I possibly can and just override my myostatin inhibitors and eat fucking cheeseburgers. You're going to get, you're going to get big.
Yeah.
Cody says there is
That's
none.
what I'm talking about.
Someone fact check it. I don't know. Either way, to
This
get that
says
huge,
that the federation hasn't. The federation has an anti-doping program in line with the World Anti-Doping Code and the WADA prohibited list.
all right. Well, there you go. So maybe they are.
So
clean. All right. Well,
they
either
have
way.
to be. No one cheats. No one cheats anymore.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Anyways, that's very impressive. A lot of training, a lot of cheeseburgers going to that. Oh man, so good. All right, so what are our key takeaways so far? The internet's wild. You should read the book Tribe,
And nobody does drugs.
and no one does drugs. All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about building fitness now. If you made it this far, building fitness was something I was thinking about quite a bit about. I've been texting the coaches. A lot of it was inspired by Rogue. Some of it's inspired by quite a few individuals who I would say that I've one coached and two people that are getting beyond the point of limitation or bridge model training where like they can basically do everything. You know, you could in our space, you could follow.com, not saying you would get fitter, but you could follow.com every single day. And there's nothing that you would have to scale, you know, or change because you're not limited by strength, skill. Yeah, I guess that would be it. Strength or skill, really.
Mhm.
And to do that, like you have to one, build a huge base of fitness from either scratch if you're starting brand new or off the backs of your historical fitness history as an athlete throughout your entirety of your life. Or you're further along and now you're just trying to build fitness off of something really challenging because you can do quote unquote everything.
Mm-hmm.
What other sports, so we can cover this, or things, and if anybody in the chat knows, has something like that where like it has a steep learning curve because CrossFit has a steep learning curve. And then once you get beyond that curve, you have to dial it in, and your ability to dial in like the capacity or an ability, a singular ability, dictates whether you're good or not. But you still have to maintain the base of support.
Wouldn't any sport fall into that? I just like, so think about like a football player. So each position obviously has its own skills and demands. So you'd have to be able to learn those and do those specifically.
Yeah, but
And
hitting harder would not necessarily, it could, but not necessarily increase your performance. Does that?
I didn't hear the first part of that.
Hitting harder, like if you're a lineman, it could, but not necessarily increase positive outcome.
No. Yeah, that's true.
It's like if you get faster in running, like your capacity grows.
Well, what if taking that same example, like what if you take it like the football player is more powerful, more explosive. He's able to
Sure.
like
Okay.
move faster, do maneuvers better, drills, not necessarily in a hitting or a strength capacity, but looking at more of being a more powerful and explosive athlete. I think that you can then become, I guess, more skilled, more drilled. Like I think of it more of a skilled than a powerful or a strength thing.
Yeah, because like you have to like. So we'll keep using the alignment. Like there's footwork in a pass block as opposed to a run block. They're different. So having the skill of being able to learn the footwork depending on what the play is, and then being able to repeat that when you're tired in the fourth quarter, and having any kind of capacity to do that well.
Right. So, your neuro capacity increases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like let's say, just as a reductionist model, it takes 5 neurons for you to run that play fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're tired, it takes you 10 neurons, let's say. It's a reductionist model. It's not how
Right.
this works.
Yeah.
So your ability to generate those neurons is you being more efficient and can withstand and last out people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So you increase your capacity in neuro adaptation in that regard.
Yeah.
Like to Heather's point, if you become more explosive, arguably you become quicker
Mm-hmm.
off the line. Okay. So this is good. I like this.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're not going to like this because you don't think gymnastics is a sport, but I think of it in, again, like that same
It's a show.
in that same skill capacity,
It's
right?
artistry.
Like you spend all of this support of like learning different skills and drills and basic flips and twists and whatever,
Mhm.
and then as they develop and they learn all of those skills that are required, right? You take the pinnacle of that, like someone like Simone Biles, right? Like she has taken that to another level because she can do all the things, right? And then now she's like exponentially
Mhm.
like getting better, right?
Yep.
Because of that base of support that she has. I think that's what you're getting at too, right?
Yeah. And to clarify, the only reason I don't think gymnastics is a sport, and it used to be
I know.
a sport,
It
in my
used to be.
opinion. In my opinion. No, because they
Yeah.
changed how they score it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think when you take something like and this has been the age-old argument of bodybuilding. It's not a sport. It's a sport. It's not a sport. When you have someone judging, like I view anything, in my opinion, and people can argue this, and I think when you go down, and I've had this argument with lots of people, and as you go down it, if the ball goes in the hoop,
Mm-hmm.
you scored a point. There's no question, or 2 points technically, if we're talking basketball, or 3, depending on. There's no question, right? In gymnastics and certain things like that, they got the judges sitting there, and they're like, "Well, I didn't really like how that pygmy toe was out of alignment.
Well,
I'm going to deduct you
it's
points."
more subjective.
Yeah, there's no, and then also I don't like how, and like this is not always the case, but in high school and college gymnastics, and even in Olympic, you can see it. But I'm more familiar with watching like high school and college. The other teams don't really watch the other teams or know what score they're getting or like what each person is doing. You travel around to each implement as a team and a group of your people and your peers that, like, I guess you're competing with to a degree, but really the thing is like all of us together, like all of us or none of us is like the, yes, girl, you did so good on your floor routine.
You've defined it because they bring their routines on, they have a certain level of difficulty.
Well, that too.
And so everybody has different levels of difficulty. So when they actually perform their skill, they're not doing anything that's going to put them over someone that's doing a higher difficulty thing necessarily. Most likely.
Yeah. Most typically they wouldn't.
And so what you're saying is they're not actually directly competing against each other.
Yeah.
That's why you're saying it's not a sport.
Yeah. I just want, the teams having like your inability against each other determines the outcome of the game.
Right.
Right. That's to me what creates a sport. In gymnastics and certain things like gymnastics, bodybuilding, it's like you show up, someone judges you. There's a good rubric. There's points. There's, they go down. There's symmetry. There's cool stuff about it. I just don't like to put it under sport.
Yeah.
That was long.
But I guess,
long.
But I guess I shouldn't have even.
We got sidetracked.
You don't even have to, I guess, maybe to the original question, it doesn't have to be sport necessarily. You're just saying fitness and performance and whatnot. So that would work, I guess.
Yeah. So like most people who come in, like even football players or just even CrossFitters or anybody doing anything with their body, let's say, because I would argue you're 100% right with your Samoan and Biles example. How long are they like this base building phase? You know what I mean? Like, because you gave the good example of Simone Biles, where now she's exponentially getting better,
Right.
right? And I'm gonna to make the stretch. And you watch some of these games athletes, and you watch just anybody in sport. Once they get past a certain point, like even
Yeah.
Cody right now, he's in the chat, and I've been watching his metrics, and I think he's fucking just skyrocketing because he's gotten past.
Well, he's like gotten to the summit. Like
Yeah.
he's like climbed the way and done all the
Yeah.
training. He's got to the summit. And now that he's there, now it's so much easier to be at that spot to like hit there. But you're not going to come from down here to there, you know?
Yeah. Like you're building your fitness is the most valuable thing, and whatever time it takes. But once you get to wherever that like launch off point is, like it's like to the moon, Alice. But building that fitness is really tough.
Yeah.
And so you guys are arguing though that like I guess you made a good argument. I like it. Anybody, any sport has like this base level of fitness that I guess earns you the right to play.
Yeah. Well, I was even thinking when you were talking, even like swimming is another example. It's like you have to be able to do all 4 strokes.
Cody's just looking
and
down
like
on
be
all this.
proficient at all 4 strokes.
Okay.
And then be able to then apply speed, intensity, like all of that afterwards, right?
Like build your aerobic capacity.
Yeah, right.
And then once you have whatever base level of aerobic capacity it is, then you actually get to build like your fitness.
Yeah.
Because where I'm going with this is I don't think most people are actually building anything until they reach proficiency and mastery
Yeah.
of their whatever chosen thing that is, right?
Yeah.
Like you use the Simone Biles example, and not that people are going to excel like Simone Biles because they hit this like base, because you're not Simone Biles. Like we kind of covered that in the genetics portion, but like, yeah, where is that for people? And I posted today about when I was rewatching. That's how crazy I am. Rewatching the Rogue Invitational, and I posted on my Instagram about how the observation is like you watch someone like Justin Medeiros, and I watched his YouTube, and they show the clips of him working out, and it's just like, man, the fluidity, the continuation of exercise, you know, and I know that doesn't happen in every event, and even just the control. You look at the overhead squat burpee workout, significantly for everybody, unless you're trying to like just send it and you think that you can hold on. Like they knew the assignment. I don't think like for the rest of us who are not superhuman CrossFitters, and you watch them, you're like, man, they're moving so fast. But if you watch them, they're not moving that fast for them. Like they've slowed it way down.
Yeah.
Because they know what's about to happen. They know they've been here before. They know what the exercise is, and they're leveraging their base of fitness to express that maximum intensity in that moment in time.
I think that's also like when you watch these elite CrossFitters, it's like they make it look easy, right? Like the movement speed and what they're doing, like you're just like, oh, that's not that bad. It's not, you know, and then you try to go against them and you're just like, they're just moving so fast, but it doesn't look like they're moving fast at all.
Let's see what Nate said. When your fitness is out of reach, the compliments. Oh, because my God. Anyways. Yeah. So I was just thinking more and more about that. Of how do you get people to get them to a place where they can express their peak of fitness?
Well, I think it's mastery of all of the movements and skills on top of
all right. So we're going to start with
that
what
we
you
always
think.
talk about, right?
All right. Let's start. This is good. Okay. So you're going to segue into the components of what you think we need. All right. So let's just do like step 1, because I outlined 5 phases. I don't want to go over all 5, but I do want to do step 1, which I have control before chaos. And I wrote out some stuff, and then
well, okay. So I'm saying mastery of all these skills, right? And I think also in CrossFit, the hardest thing for a lot of people, and we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier, like people who've been doing CrossFit for a long time, it's so hard for them to dial back, redefine movement, like learn new movement patterns because they're like, this is how I've been doing it. And I have to keep going and I have to blah, blah, blah. And so it's so hard because a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes those people just, they're good at CrossFit, but they move like dirt. Right. And so it's like, how can you get them to understand? Can you move less chaotically, move more efficiently? And we talk about this a lot.
Yeah,
I
but there are
think it's
people
like,
who move really well who will just move too fast.
sure.
'Cause, like,
I
my-
guess the point I'm making is like get people to move well
Alright,
first.
so
and build
you're
mastery
number
and
one.
skill.
Okay, so your number one then is to move well.
Yeah.
Got it. Tyler, building fitness, place you start.
I would start with aerobic capacity.
Okay.
My argument for that would be, so it's not, I don't know, because I don't think Heather's wrong.
I'm not
I
saying it's
just-
number one. I
No,
shouldn't
no,
say it's
no,
number
no.
one. I'm just saying it's a component for
No,
sure.
it's gotta be number one. That's we're
Oh,
playing the
well.
game.
No,
You
it's
can-
just
you can
the
read.
only reason I say aerobic capacity first is because if you're learning all of these new skills, you'll recover from the learning of all of the new skills
Sure.
with a higher aerobic base.
Yeah.
But I it's hard because I think you could make an argument for either one, because like just having an aerobic base doesn't
Well, you can have
qualify
both.
you.
You can have both, guys.
Well,
I
that's what
just-
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you could, just because someone is well versed aerobically doesn't mean that they now have the ability to do a crisp power clean
or a
and-
full depth air squat.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go there.
A lunge, a overhead. lunge.
As minimalist as possible.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, I mean, there's that. So like, those are all components of like starting out, building your fitness. I think Heather's right. Like I have on here, basically, if you can't move continuously, so that's the aerobic capacity, then every rep drains you. And then if you can breathe well, then you'll never slow down. Because I think that's a constraint for a lot of people starting exercise. They get out of breath and they don't like it.
hmm
And you can build that by doing aerobic work, like you said, Tyler, aerobic capacity. And then you train control before speed. So then 3 of the things I have that were so written out so nicely for me by Chatbot GPT, put in all my thoughts, and then I have Chatbot reorganize everything because I am terrible at formulating things that are visibly aesthetic that people enjoy. And I wanted to make something tangible that psychopaths like me could only read, I guess. All the normal people
Well,
could
and
read
how
it
many
nicely.
how many times have you done an open workout that you had to redo because you
Wait,
just
hold
got,
on. You took away
Oh,
my, because I got saying train control before speed. You know what you're talking about? Open workouts.
tell me all your perfect
Yeah, yeah.
notes. Okay, tell us.
Working on this here. All right. Having tempo work. And I brought in, even though someone wrote about this the other day about, I think it was Tristan writing about like not nasal breathing when
Mhm.
training, but I
Yeah.
put it in anyways in my first step.
I thought that too. I was
Nasal-
like, God likes that.
Nasal breathing workouts like EMOMs, AMRAPs, flow sessions like Tyler's mentioning. So 60 to 70% max heart rate. And the goal isn't to go harder. The goal is to never stop moving. So what's interesting is I asked you guys didn't do any of the groundwork. I wrote the thing on Instagram, started thinking about it, told you guys how I wrote the stuff, then wrote it on Instagram to prompt to see what people would say on the Instagram, then sent it out to you guys as coaches. And then I started writing how I would make these steps. Because again, people love structure. And I'm terrible at structure because I feel like often I talk about very nebulous things that have a lot of nuance, and it helps people, but only to those who like want to seek out like the practice. Whereas I think people just want to be like, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. And as much as I hate that, I think it's gonna be more effective in me getting more people to understand this if I start doing that. So thanks to Chatbot GPT, it takes, and also I use this voice app that I talk to. I talk my thoughts out, and then it puts them in order, like makes them more cohesive. I'm going to actually share that. Look at books and apps you guys can use to become smarter. It's called Audio Pen. You're going to use your Audio Pen.
So it just you talk into
I just
it,
talk
it records,
I talk my ideas and my
what-
thoughts. Yeah.
and then it reorganizes it for you like Chatbot.
Yeah, basically, because it just takes what I'm talking about and just reformats the general ideas. And sometimes we'll give me a list, or it'll just write it out in paragraph form.
That's
Can you
Almost-
just do like a verbal note taking on it?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Oh,
It
nice.
is verbal note taking, but the AI will then help and I can prompt it after the fact because I do it when I'm driving. And then after I'm done driving, because I don't text and drive. No one should do that. Then I'll look at it and like, oh, okay. And you can reformat it and give it like, hey, I want this here, or I want this there.
Audio pen.
Yep, it's pretty good. But it helps me like think if I see something in training or I see something in the gym that people are doing and I have ideas, I just talk to the audio pen. So there you go. Nice little hack for you guys in your life if you want to just like take all of this and put it somewhere.
Nice. Can I make my point about the open that you didn't want me to continue with?
Only because I was talking, but yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm talking about my points of building fitness. My step 1 of building fitness,
Well,
which
you went through the 3 and then I thought you were giving us a moment to comment, but I was wrong. All I was getting at was how many times you've done like a qualifier, an open workout, and you've just like got smacked in the face. And then you look at it and you're like, I just was like perfect example, Fittest of the Coast workout too. I just was moving way too fast and I felt like crazy. And then you slow down and you actually just like move with like less chaos and like you do better. So like, I feel like that's like a real example of a lot of times where people just feel like they have to go faster. They have to go harder. They have to do more reps unbroken. Like, and sometimes that's the case, but a lot of the times it's not. And a lot of times like building in that fitness, it's just like learning to have more control, learning to slow down, learning to be really methodical in what you're doing based on the information that you have of yourself as an athlete and training and all of those things to kind of like put the pieces together.
Yeah. I mean, like more discipline
in
what you're doing. But
yeah,
I just think people learning in general, because of the space that we're in as far as like CrossFit, and I would even say like people getting into high rocks, I could see how this is going to happen. And I think it does happen because everybody wants to go fast and hard, like in the idea of high rocks. So you get out, and the best example is if you're doing running, because you're doing high rocks. We ran this summer and there are a lot of people running too hard, too fast. And there are people who are obeying the system and the ideas of how we're going to change the biology and arguably just running slower than what they would have liked. And those people actually got better adaptations on paper than the others who could not do what Heather's saying and slow themselves down, check their ego at the door, and try to get the quality adaptations, right? When you're building your fitness. So I think building your base out, even like Tyler was saying, like aerobic capacity too. Someone asked me the other day, because I wanted to do it last year. And I still want to do it. And I think it's way too late for me to be trying to do this, but I'm doing it anyways, because I want to see how tough I am. I might quit, but I want to do 24 hours on the rower, the way they do for the foundation. And like Rich Running's done it, and you can do it in teams of 4. Last year I tried to do it. No one really wanted to join me. People were interested, but this year I think I'm definitely going to do it. And I said, hey, anybody wants to come in and row, however long you want to row. You want to come in and take me off the rower and help me out, you can come in and row. But like the biggest thing is like, can I even sit on a rower for like 4 hours? Like I thought about that. I'm like, could I just like no handle, just like scooch back and forth, like on the seat?
Yeah.
Like how much, like there's no intensity in that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the contractions in your knees and your quads.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, even when you think about something like that, and I know that's like an extreme example, but it's very easy to use that example and go, can you even sit on the rower for 24 hours and move back and forth? Regardless of the damper, regardless of the pace, regardless of the pulling. Like for me, that's most of the challenge. Like the Navy SEAL mental toughness style stuff. Like, can you hold the log with your unit while someone sprays you in the face with water? And like you have no end point. So better get comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
I
mean, it's almost similar to just being like, can you air squat for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, similar.
Yeah. So it's like the thing where you think about, I mean, it's deloaded, so it's lighter contraction.
Yeah.
But air squat would be way, way harder, I feel like. But the point of that is like, okay, let's look at the Fittest of the Coast qualifier, the first workout that had 40 cal row, 20 step overs, 40 cal row, 20 burpee box jump overs. And it's almost like being in labor. Okay, here we go. An undefined amount of time. Holding a log with your unit is like labor because it's undefined. I got it. Never know when it's going to end. Anyways, so you look at that workout, and when after hindsight's always 2020, we look at the scores of that workout, and the scores the best score is about 400 reps, right?
Mhm.
How many rounds was that? Like getting through 3 rounds, give or take,
Yeah. Yeah.
all the way through
20.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, give or
3
take.
plus.
Yeah. So if you want to get, or whatever level you want to get to, say like you look at the scores and you're like, man, I really needed a 350, or I needed a 380, or I needed 275, whatever it was. The next question for me as a coach, I look at like building fitness is like, can you even do those reps?
Right.
Like an undefined amount of time? Like, hey, you want to do 400. Great. Go through the 400 reps. Now, I'm not saying this is the best approach, but it's like the next layer of what we're saying. If they move really well and they want to build aerobic capacity, that's a good way to build aerobic capacity. Like a lot of the base level fitness stuff, like even, we talk so much about it. I said the first rule of Imam Club is we don't talk about Imam Club. We talk so much about Imam Club.
I don't talk
I know, I
about
talk
Imam
about
Club
it. I break the rule. I break the rule
ever.
every time. But it's one of those things, like the Imam Club is about that. It's about building up the lower intensity, threshold intensity, and collecting volume and reps at that intensity. And that's like the thing that we're using as a tool to build fitness. Similarly, like Cody was running 1,000 meters with us. That was the tool and the system that we use to build fitness. And if you do it correctly, you start leveraging off of that fitness. But I think the first piece, like you guys were saying, using control before chaos and building aerobic capacity, because those are the 3 things I've written down, which was kind of neat because I didn't say those things to you guys. You didn't know. And I wanted to see what you guys said, and you guys put them together independently, because Heather's was move better and Tyler's
Okay.
was aerobic capacity.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great place to start when you're trying to build your fitness. So that way you can get up to your peak like Cody and launch off like a
Well,
rocket
then
ship.
even to that point of Imam Club, it's like if you haven't really built an aerobic base of fitness, you haven't built a lot of the skills, you can't even do that next layer. Like you can't really I mean, I guess you can, but then you're kind of going to like changing the movements. You're not really doing the amount of volume or rep that's like needed, like because you haven't really like built any of that base to then be able to express the longer fitness, I guess.
Immerse says I don't have to talk about Imam Club. I could just talk about the Imams without saying Imam Club, and then I won't get kicked out. I'm gonna get kicked out of my own club.
Loophole.
I'm gonna get kicked out of my own club. I started the Imam Club. The heck? I'm Tyler Durden over here. Jeez Louise. Anyways, I'm making soap in the back. Dude, I just ruined the movie for everyone. People don't know. Someone, or Renata. Renata hasn't seen Fight Club.
I was just about to say, there's no way that you ruin that for anybody.
Dude, a
Because
lot of people,
everybody's seen it.
If
a lot
you're
of
like
people
under
haven't seen.
35, you probably haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who haven't seen Fight Club. You'd be surprised.
That's not
It's
okay.
crazy. Well, did you know that it was not a box office smash?
Really?
Yeah, it was actually terrible. It became a cult classic and made its most money when it came out on DVD.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun fact. Fun fact.
Wow.
DVDs.
DVD.
DVD. I mean, at least he didn't say VHS.
I did. Well, how is a good way, now that we just talked about slowing down, moving better to build your base? I mean, there's lots more steps, and not everybody's at the steps. Some people already are beyond that first layer. Some people move really well already. They may not have an aerobic base, or they have an aerobic base and they move really well. And there's other steps in the process to really hit that peak and that stride to like build your fitness. But the first place like that I think most people would want to evaluate and look at is those 2 things primarily. And I try to give a little bit of tools there with like the tempo, because obviously tempo is control of movement pattern. So if you slow it down by using tempo, you should be trying to move in best ranges as possible. And even though sometimes you prescribe tempo, people still don't move well. I don't understand. So don't do that. And then from there, doing like this type of nasal breathing, aerobic work. Renata said volume, but, and I know it's the chat, so I'm going to give her, but like, you can't just do volume for the sake of volume sometimes.
Right.
It has to be really intentional volume. Like you could do volume, but there are athletes I know that have done a lot of volume in their life, and volume's not going to solve the problem. So then you got to like look at it a little bit differently, even just with building their fitness. Most of the time, it's like what Heather's saying. They just don't move really well, or they don't have a skill. That's the other thing. Building your fitness, like step one is like building. I would say building. Steps 2 or 3 I have written as like building skills, or like what Tyler was saying about the football players, and like neuro drive and repeat neuro drive is like step 3 and 4.
Yeah.
What I have written down, but yes, base building your fitness. Step 1, move with proficiency. All the movements as best you can, obviously barring limited range of motion.
Yeah.
Take note of those. Increase your range of motion with coach, PT, chiro, yourself, GoWOD, everything. Throw everything in the kitchen sink at it to get free ranges of motion. Loosen those things up, because they're going to come back and they're going to haunt you. They're going to get you every time. Every time. I watch people with tight hamstrings, low back tightness, hip tightness, and like, they get very robust. They can do lots of things. They compensate really well. And then they're like, oh man, my back really hurts. They're like, oh, that lights me up here, lights me up there. Like, I've found that people who move well don't have like pain or stoppage getting lit up. They do get muscle occlusion, and they occludes and like quote blows up and burns, and you get really tight and tense, and like your muscles fill, versus like, that hurts, I don't want to do another rep.
Versus being painful. Yeah.
And that a lot of that's because you were moving poor from the get-go and too fast with this poor movement that you now hurt yourself.
Yeah. Well, I was going to even say like then building we talk about the strong enough, right? Where it's like, okay, now you need to be able to make these movements easier because you're stronger, right? Like I think if you're like weaker, you're not, a lot of those movements, or even if you move well. So I'm saying move well would be like body weight type stuff, like moving through space, like that kind of stuff. But it's like, now you need to build a little bit of strength.
Okay. That's my step 2. I think I was going to save that for the next one.
Okay.
Oops.
But that's good.
Anyways, you tell me when you want to talk.
That's the next step. It is one of the pieces of the next step. You are completely right. But building strength. What else? Crazy. Someone's trying to call into the show. No call-ins. What is? Yeah, not everybody's at this like beginner level too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like roll it out all one big show, because I was thinking about how I could do it. I think I'm going to put some posts on Instagram too, just so people, and entice them to come watch these shows. Because I think long format stuff is much better than just like short tidbits. I mean, we were talking about Instagram and how, oh my God, it's getting terrible, dude. It's crazy. It can be a segue to more information, but I just see more and more people like only looking at the 10 to 20 second video.
Well, did you see the thing
And
that
scrolling
Catalyst posted today?
No.
Well, Greg Everett posted this thing today about how our whole society is, everybody just watches the 20-second video and nobody actually goes and like does research. And because we're so like,
dude, I've caught you doing that.
No, I'm not saying I'm avoid of it. I'm just saying that's what our society is like, they don't want to take the time to go and like,
I'm gonna start calling people out. You watched that 20-second video, didn't you?
Right. Well, I'm just saying that's what our culture is, right? And I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole with this, but it's like that's
okay. I want to report back. I want everyone who read the book Tribe. I'm gonna give you a month to do it. I want to see who even reads that book or listen to the book. That's fine too.
Yeah.
But hey, you want to take a step further? Read the book with your eyes. On paper, not even digital.
Don't say that, because you won't read it.
I know.
You'll listen to audio. So I'm going to call you out
all the time. I'm saying that's the step further. I'm not there yet. I know.
All right. As long as you admit it.
My base of fitness is still being built in that category.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know how people.
It's hard. I'd fall asleep. I have to listen too.
Really?
I would
fall asleep so much faster listening.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I like to listen to it. I think it's easier. But I like
just
reading
like-
books.
I
I
just
just
like
feel
the
like it's when
feel
I
of
do it, it's
books.
the end of the day usually, and then I'm like dead.
I like being able to fold the book.
I like to just get information in mucho fastor.
Yeah.
Mucho rapido.
Renato will read it.
Yeah. But anyways, so I got sidetracked because of the book again.
Sorry.
It was good. It was good to bring it up. But yeah, no, people don't ingest long form information enough. And like multiple, and also too many different things, I think also. Like the people that listen to our show every week, I think I watch people grow pretty quickly, like especially in the gym. Like we talk about Renata. I think she has grown so quickly as a coach and an athlete in our space because of just even watching this. And it's because it's the repetitiveness of us trying to convey information of human development and human performance. And it helps. And when you're around that enough and you try to stay on the same thing, you know, it's like if you go out here outside and like the book tribe, it's, I would say, in the same vein. You're learning about why people want to be connected. You spend a lot of time in a community of like-minded individuals who want to push themselves hard. We were talking about today about having support, like training with people, super valuable, even though some people get so much dissonance from not training with people and training by themselves that you forget what it's like to, you know, hear somebody like, come on, Heather, you got it. Just that little bit. And in the beginning, it might feel, you know, if you go from like training by yourself to then training with people, you might feel like uncomfortable about that. But I think if over time you lean into it, it's actually more empowering than it is being by yourself. Like training by yourself does take a skill, and there are times that you have to do that. But I would argue, especially after what we're seeing and what I say, like about the Tuesdays when people come in and the Saturdays when they come in, and why I'm so like, hey, you got to come in and work, is one, I want the environment to be the way it needs to be. And I don't want to be around people who are whining and complaining and having a bad attitude. I want people to lift each other up and like be aggressive in the most positive way to attack the goal and the like-minded goal of like being sharp and getting really, really effing fit. Right. So like that is super powerful if you have it. Whereas like being by yourself, I think over time you could watch people just decline, or why people like wash out or things like that. But building that is super important too, like in your base of fitness. That's why going to a group class, even though Renata said like getting better, doing one-on-one, sure, yeah, that's a way to do it. But also starting with group class to build your base of capacity, your movement quality, having a coach watch you. And then from there, getting a one-on-one coach, or like a hybrid style where you're still doing class and getting coached with a one-on-one coach, like half of the time, and the other half of the time you're going to class, is a value. If you don't have a place like us, like the on-site people have an opportunity 2 times a week to get in that group and be positively motivated. I mean, you can always jump in class too. Someone will tell you, hey, you're doing good. Like today with the rowing, I'm yelling at everybody, minimum, ladies, minimum 1,000 calories per hour. Gentlemen,
They're
minimum
dying. I love it.
1,300 calories per hour. No exceptions. And everyone's crushing it, you know?
It's good.
But yep, building your fitness. I think that's the answer that everyone actually wants. You guys want to try to do a series on this? We talk less about the internet in the beginning.
Sure. Yeah.
Was the conversation in the beginning about the internet fun? Those of you guys who are on for that portion.
They're probably gonna skip to minute 25. Let's be
I know.
real.
I don't want to gain negative feedback too. I don't want people to feel like we were picking. I saw it on the internet, and now I'm talking about it on the internet. It's free reign. No one said anything disparaging. I just want to understand how we got here. That is a marketing ploy in any way, shape, or form. That was just the example that I saw that brought this to my front of my mind of like, wow, this is where we're at now. Like, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Are there crazy things? I don't look at a lot of nutrition stuff because I think that's crazy too. And if Mike Hughes is listening, are there crazy things where like, well, I guess there is carnivore. Carnivore could get a little crazy, right? Or like keto.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Are there like really extreme things where it's like, okay, we're carnivore, but we're only going to eat bison? And like, you're just like
There has to be.
bison only communities where you're just like,
Well, I think
Isolated
like
communities.
You know what I mean? Like they niche it down from the niche to the niche.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening is like, well, I need to sell this thing. So I have this bison company. So I'm gonna promote bison only.
oh, I'm sure.
Carnivore.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there was a guy. Crap, I can't. Do you know who BioLane is? Do you follow him?
No. Remember we were
he's-
just talking about how I unfollowed like.
Well, I know, but I don't know if you followed him. on something.
Yesterday, but he doesn't now anymore.
Yes,
Yeah, I did yesterday. As of today, no.
he put up a post about a guy. I can't think of his. He's a famous guy, famous like health official, who like 3 years ago was like all protein powders are a waste of time, a waste of money, and then earlier this week he's selling his own protein powder.
Stop.
Oh,
Stop.
And it's stuff
No.
like that where you're like, you're just trying to make money. You were just trying to make money 3 years ago by saying all protein powders are bad, buy my thing. And now you're saying this protein powder is good, buy my thing.
That's
That's
bad.
it. Hey, we just circled the whole episode. That's it.
Mhm.
Man. That's crazy. Our better use of our time is to build our fitness and ignore those people. How can we get off Instagram? How could everyone get off? It's not.
I mean, you
I
can
don't
just get
think
off
it's
Instagram.
no, because that doesn't impact enough people. I just don't think it's good anymore.
I like saw this thing that somebody was saying, what if we just took all the servers and just wiped it out and like restarted the internet like all over? And I was like, oh, that's kind of a
in
crazy
a couple
thought,
in a
though.
couple of years you'd have it all back.
I know.
Yeah.
People are very good at making content. People are freak out. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I just thought that was an interesting thought.
Problem is
Like,
it
could
is
we do
good.
that?
It is good and it is bad. So
Yeah.
there's that. It's not good at all anymore. He agrees. It's the internet is not. I mean, man, there's some stuff that gets me inspired and like fired up and things I see and things that people say and some
But
things
it's
that
only
people share.
2%, and the 98% you don't.
No, that was how much I like someone standing on a kettlebell in
I
an
know.
overhead squat.
That
like
can
it.
apply to a lot of
98% I hate. 2% I like it. Okay.
2% of the time you like the internet, 98% of the time you don't. I feel like that's a fair
No.
thing to say.
I wish I could contribute better. I feel this is how we contribute. Longer format. I think my thoughts are there's too much context to what I say. Nate would agree. Yeah. He would agree. Dude, you gotta follow the context when he talks, or else you're like not gonna figure it out. But yep. All right. Well, next week we could continue this and work on building your fitness, volume 2. Essentially, first step, because people like steps. Move well. You can use tempo, slowing things down, and like Tyler said, build an aerobic base, doing longer EMOMs or longer AMRAPs at a controlled effort, not blowing yourself up. You know, as they say, conversational pace. Get some volume in, and the volume that you can handle. Because like we said about the rower, you may not be able to sit on a rower for 24 hours. We're going to see what happens to me. Nate, 100%. See, you got to follow the context of what I'm saying, or else you just don't get it. Let's see. Oh, nah, stuff like Austin Hatfield's promo for that one drink makes the internet good. True. There's some funny stuff on the internet. There's this lady, and we'll end it here unless you guys got something funny on the internet. There's this lady that dresses up like the NSYNC singers and the Backstreet Boys singers, like each individual one. And she'll do like funny parodies of the ones that I like stumble across. I don't even know how I found this lady, but
How is this in your algorithm?
because I have like kids stuff in there now and everything else because I have a daughter.
Okay. All right.
So like it comes up and it's like, because I got the team, there's this the coach, like the parent, she plays out the text feed for the parents from the coach, and she has like the characters of each parent, an avatar of what each parent would say.
Okay.
So I get a lot of those things. And the one she's like, what would happen when like Justin Timberlake is singing with NSYNC and they're trying to record, and the recording manager's like, and she pretends to be the recording manager, and she's like, okay, Justin, on this one, you're not going to sing for a little bit. Joey's going first in Bye Bye Bye, okay? And like in the Bye 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 song, you know how he goes, yeah, in the beginning. So
wait, say that again.
Not doing it again. That was it. On the internet, you can go watch it later. but it's hilarious because it's just like I just like funny things like that. So yeah, the internet is good. You guys got anything funny on the internet?
Not like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think you win. We should just end the show with that.
All right, so the internet is good to some degree. I've stopped following Instagram influencers, like what's his name, Tanner Schluff or whatever his name is. God, I hate that guy. Oh my God.
On that note,
I don't know who that is.
Strength is the first virtue. See you guys later.